Thanks for your help, Mark.
You're good.
Awesome. All right. Thanks, everybody, for signing on tonight. Sorry about the shift in programming. Lots of fun things happening on the city channels these days, so we had to actually fight for this slot. I'll go ahead and call to order the meeting, and I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes. Does anybody have any questions or concerns on it? Do I have a second to approve?
I second the approval of minutes.
Thank you, David. All those in favor?
Aye.
Krista?
Aye.
Yeah.
Aye. This is Krista.
Make sure for karma you say your name, please.
Oh, yes. This is Krista, and I'm giving you an aye.
This is David. Aye.
Cynthia?
Aye.
Joe?
Aye.
Barbara?
I abstain because I wasn't here, so I don't think I can vote on that.
And Genevieve?
Aye.
All right, motion passes.
Fabulous. Thank you, Karma. Okay, I will go ahead and go into updates from our subcommittees. If Barbara would like to talk about Poet Laureate, I will let her have the floor.
Sure. Thanks, Genevieve. As Genevieve knows, we're still trying to get a date for our next Poet Laureate meeting, and we'll do that real soon. And that's about it for now. Do you have anything else, Genevieve, to add to that?
I don't. I think I have the email open to send back to you guys to schedule that. So
Great.
I will do that after our meeting tonight. The gallery updates, I don't have one from Elizabeth. If she happens to be able to pop on, then I'll let her interject wherever we are within the meeting and give us an update. Proposed murals and updates from the Mural Subcommittee. There are currently, the John Lewis mural that we approved is going to begin this weekend, I believe. And the Thurgood Marshall and RGB mural, which hasn't come to us yet in final proposal form, is actually going through HPC first. And their meeting is November 10th for final approval because it is in the historic district. So that is really all that we have on the table right now for murals. Does anybody else have anything else to add about murals?
Yeah, I think the plan is for Jeff to start this weekend because is the Black Lives Matter thing still happening or no?
Yeah, I asked about that too.
Yeah, no. So the street painting is not happening this weekend because David Gerald didn't want it to coincide with First Sunday. He thought it was a little too much obstruction with the traffic because we actually have to close down the section from
That makes sense.
7-Eleven to City Gate. So
Yeah,
That makes sense. I saw Jeff's schedule. I've been trying to help as much as I can connect him with the owner there, and I saw his schedule, but it is supposed to rain. And he did like the idea of trying to do it when they were doing the Black Lives Matter thing. So I don't know, maybe he'll end up waiting until the next weekend if it ends up raining this week.
yeah, it's always an option. I'll leave that up to Jeff, and I'm sure he'll keep us updated. So
Genevieve, is Jeff spearheading that? Is that who's sort of kind of doing the creative overseeing of the project?
For the street painting?
Yeah, for Black Lives Matter.
Actually, Jeff has asked his teaching artist, Camisel Brown, to take that over and develop the concept. I don't have the concept yet. Camisel's working on it. As soon as I have it, I'll send it out to everybody. So he's going to develop it, but it's still a FHN project. It'll still
Okay.
have all the teaching artists, but he's just letting Commissel spearhead it because Jeff is constricted for time. And
Got it.
he's also trying to get the John Lewis mural up. So
Makes sense. Okay, that's what I was asking. Okay, cool. Thanks.
yes,
Unless he cloned himself.
he probably would like that. He is
Okay.
so busy, which is
Right.
really fabulous. But
Awesome.
yeah, lots
Okay.
of projects. He's doing such great stuff everywhere. Beautiful pieces.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Anybody
Hey,
else?
I came in a couple of minutes late, and Archie just wanted to know all about the murals.
Okay.
Can you rehash that real quick for me?
Yeah. So,
Thanks.
Jeff, so we approved the John Lewis mural last meeting, so last month, and Jeff is planning on starting that this weekend, if weather permitting. His schedule, he will let us know whether he's going to start it or not, but he has full approval from the building owners and the adjoining lot to put a lift in there. He's he'll let us know if it's going to go through this weekend or not. The street painting has been put off. It's not going to happen this weekend, possibly next weekend, we're hoping. Permits haven't been finalized yet. We'll see.
Did you know about that bumper? The street painting?
No. Nope.
So there's a Black Lives Matter themed street painting that's going to occur from in front of the 7-Eleven over to City Gate on West Street.
Okay.
And that will be done. Commissel Brown from Future History Now, he's one of the teaching artists, and he will be spearheading that design and concept. And if Jeff's able to be there, then he will definitely be there, but it is still an FHN project. And then the Thurgood Marshall mural, and it's Thurgood Marshall and RGB. It goes in front of HPC on November 10th, and then the final concept will come to us, and if they need funding or whatever, then, but it has to be approved by HPC first, so we're waiting on that. But that's all I have for murals at this time.
That's plenty.
Yeah, and I do know that there is a mural in the works for Robert Eads, but I don't know anything about it. I don't know the status of it. Maybe Brian does. I haven't seen a concept or anything at this time.
The only thing I know is that it was Tola had really wanted it to be on the transportation building, which is where we had already, or you guys had already voted in favor of Roberta Pardo doing her Year of the Woman kind of thing. So I'm actually not sure. Have we notified Roberta that this other thing might be happening since she delayed, or just want to make sure she's aware?
Yeah, so I will contact Tola to see if I can get an update on this concept. But Roberta contacted us and told us that due to COVID, her funding fell through and her artists are not able to travel here to do the painting, the mural of the unsung heroes, unfortunately. We're trying to figure out, as soon as her artists are able to be here to do it, how we can implement it and get it done, and possibly, additional funding would be needed. But at this time, she is not moving forward with that mural project. So it does, if she is willing to relinquish that building, it does open it up for the Robert Eads mural. And they wanted to put it on the transportation building because Robert Eads was, the taxi driver.
There was also some talk, again, I've heard, of trying to do some murals on like the screens or something on the Whitmore garage.
Yeah.
And that would be kind of cool because Robert would be facing his own house and his daughter and everything.
Right. I would need an update from Janice on that because she was working on that with Parks and Rec with the county. So
that's a concern to me, though, that we just named a park after him and they get two murals. I mean, I love Robert.
Yeah, we have to have some communication about that and figure that out.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. Okay, well, I'll check in with both of them tomorrow. So, Any other questions about murals currently? That's all I have for updates. Okay, we'll move on to Joe and Karma then for grants, if you guys have any updates for us.
Not really. Not since last month. I did actually, I've won. I said that I would try and follow up on the NEA, kind of the one that seemed relevant to us. And I wrote to the contact information. I've heard nothing, but I can follow up on that. But Carmen and I have not had a chance to connect.
Okay. Thank you, Joe, and thank you, Karma, for doing that. I'm really excited for us to have this opportunity and find some additional funding so we can do more projects. Public outreach, I don't have any updates at this time. Just as much as Joe and Karma have been unable to get together, David and I have not, and Krista have not been able to meet up either. There hasn't been any emails sent out, but I do hope that next week, after hopefully our chaos dies down a little bit, I can send out an email for some outreach and figure out some other public access places that we can get some art in. If anybody has any suggestions about anything or anywhere, let us know about where we should reach out to, who we should, in each ward. I'll reiterate that I still would love to see more projects going in each ward versus just the influx to Ward 1, and which is good, and we need it because everybody goes downtown, but we also need to bring it out into the other communities in our other wards and stuff. So
This is Krista. They're still doing the music at Grapes in Ward 5. That I have also been up to the Main and Market area where it's not necessarily the arts, but they actually have out in their restaurant area where people eat outside. They have been doing, I believe, the Navy game. So they have a big screen, TV screen, and then they also have probably, some specials and things like that. But I happened to be there this past weekend. I had heard about it, and I happened to be there this past weekend, and they're doing that. And I know they had also done like a jazz music type thing at one point. So I can follow up with that. That's the SOFO area. I can follow up with them to see if they're still doing any music there. And I do know that the restaurants are trying to figure out how they're going to do the tenting. They're coming up with plans with the heaters. Some are investing in some pretty, high-end, interesting kind of heater systems that push the air in and circulate it and, filter it and all these other kinds of things. So they're really going at length to really try to continue to have the outdoor access for dining and also for entertainment for those that do bring in some of the music. So maybe we can support a little bit more in those regards in some of the other wards too, if anybody else is doing that.
Hey, Genevieve, this is David. I think what I'll try to do is maybe set up some time with you, me, and Chris to actually have a subcommittee meeting. And I'll do
that would be great.
I'll take that action item. Just last couple of weeks have been kind of hectic, but things are starting to settle down on my end. So I'll definitely reach out to the two of you and find some time. Maybe this time or so next week to at least have a Zoom conversation, at least some sort of communication, smoke signals, carrier pigeons, something to get
Sounds great.
Have a conversation. All right, cool.
Yeah, and David and I do have a meeting coming up with Eric Lashinsky again regarding the comprehensive plan and AIPPC's wish list, which we're going to talk about tonight later in new business. So any ideas and stuff that you guys bring to us, we are going to meet with him and project that forward and see if we can get it into the city's comprehensive plan going forward. But
Can I just add one other thing? This is Krista. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'm getting like a back or echo, but I did run into some of the dancers that did the Dracula performance. Had you guys heard about that?
Yes,
That was
it's
at the Hammond House.
half a block from my house. Yeah, it was beautiful.
Yeah, so I ran into them, and they, this was kind of the first time they had kind of done an outdoor performance kind of thing, and I met up with them before they were doing it, and then I followed up with them after the performance, and they actually thought it went really well. So I just wanted to kind of put that out there with regards to that performance.
Yeah, and those performances are shared on the Facebook page, and they have additional ballet coming up too at Maryland Hall. So definitely, definitely check the Maryland Hall events calendar. It's a great space. I was there the first night that they kicked it off and did like a trial run, and I am so excited that they are utilizing their outdoor campus area. It's wonderful. It's a great backdrop. It's beautiful. So definitely yes.
Yeah.
West Street is still having live music too, as well as Market Square has it, for the diners. So those are other things too that we've been posting about, because it is free and open to the public. You don't necessarily have to sit down and buy something or attend the restaurants. You can enjoy the music. So
right. Same with Bread and Butter down in Eastport, down by the Chart House. They have had some music down there too.
Yeah.
On the weekends sometimes.
Yes, that's right. She is doing, Monica is doing, yes, that's right. Thank you. Yeah.
Genevieve.
Yes.
If you want, I'll be glad to, if I'm able, meet with you and David with Eric, or if you want to meet alone, that's fine, but I'll be glad to. I've been working with him on lots of stuff. He's a real great addition to the city, and he really gets it. And I'm working with him on a bunch of projects. So if you want me to, I'll be glad to. And I also wanted to let you know, the mayor and I are having lunch with the owner of the Rental Works place on Gibraltar Street, right behind the car dealership and the car dealership. And I've been, we're meeting with them to try to work on the bike lane, but also, last year, we invited all 26 owners on that outer we section to a city hall. And when we did that, we got the person in charge of land acquisition, or all the land for the Merit Athletic people. They own like 200 million square feet of commercial property in the state. And I mentioned in my speaking to this group, I mentioned the potential of murals and making the Wii a really awesome art, pedestrian bicycle path. And afterwards, this woman, who I think is going to retire soon, that's the reason I'm bringing this all up, is she goes, I heard your comment about the murals. I love the idea. And if we could get, that could be one of the largest murals in the whole state of Maryland. On that building is huge. And so I thought we might want to have a Zoom meeting with her at some point, or come up with some sort of a plan, either one giant mural or a group of murals. Should we have a theme or not a theme, to present to them and see what they think? Because we could start maybe working on that.
Okay.
Even before the Wii is finished.
Okay. Set the meeting up then, Brian.
All right. I'll make a note and I'll do that.
Just shoot David and I a link, and then whatever comes of that, we'll share with everybody else.
Awesome.
Brian, what's the Wii?
The Wii is the West Express, basically where the Poplar Trail is.
Okay.
Is only the middle third of. We have the whole section behind the hotel. That's the inner Wii, we've been calling it. And then the outer Wii is from Admiral to Gibraltar. It's the whole railroad line, basically.
I got you. Okay, cool. Thank you.
It's the new bike path, David. You're going to love it.
I got it. Okay, cool. Thank you.
Is that actually part of the city limits, or is that an extension?
No, that's only the city limits.
Okay.
The Watts Park outside the city limits, but that's the goal, is that this could get you to the library, to schools, to, it's got basically 4 housing hacker groups along it. It's got the hospital, the mall, and trying to get people all the way out to Waterworks.
Oh, okay.
It's gonna be been 2-3 years of work, and it's gonna be more years in the future, but we're getting closer and closer every day on so many of these pieces. But that mural piece is what I wanted to bring all to your attention to think about, because it could really make this whole thing really awesome.
Cool.
Yeah, and the idea was to put art along the whole path, and then do a, self-guided app tour of the art along the bike paths and connecting all of the art together, and in addition to the art walk. So connecting all of it. It's a kind of a big, grander plan, and that would go into the comprehensive plan of AIPPC for a projected project for the future of the city.
We could have statues along it. It could have, which I love statues, and there's only so many places in town we can put statues, but it could have all kinds of art along it. But the Merit building, which has orange velo in it now, and there's like a kickboxing kind of workout gym thing in there, and a welder. It used to be very industrial. But the orange velo guys, it would be right out their back door. They would love to like put a cafe out there and have bikers be able to stop and blow up their tires. And but it's a lot of work, but we're getting there. But that mural could really make it happen.
That sounds good. All right, well, hook us up with a meeting, Brian.
All right.
And so structure review, David and I again have not started. So we will do that and get Sally Comport and do the art walk. That was projected to start in October, but we bumped it to November. And I sent the budget out to everybody, so everybody has it in their email. If you have any questions about it, we can discuss it now. It's not reflective of the money that we awarded Future History Now for the John Lewis mural. At this time, they haven't cut the check yet, but everything else is up to date. Okay, we'll move on to new business then. It is that time of year to start planning for next year. For the summer concert series. I am being extremely optimistic that we will be able to socially gather, and I think that we should plan as such. They are projecting to have a vaccine, and whether that does what we really hope it does or not, we'll have to wait and see. But I would like to have us as a group talk about what we would like to see happen down at City Dock next summer. Obviously, we would keep our current events that we have that people come into town for and our residents really love. But if there's other additional ideas, like maybe even we could have the ballet dancers come down, emulate some of the stuff that Maryland Hall is doing down at City Dock as well. Shoot the ideas out there. This is just an open discussion and in planning. And then if you also have artists that we haven't featured down at City Dock yet, let's put their names down on the list and let's reach out to them and see if they're interested and start getting the schedule put together.
One idea I had, hi, this is David. One idea I'm just thinking about is, obviously it'd be great to get in person and, do these things live, but also do a live stream for those folks who still, who knows when, and obviously when we all want a vaccine to come, but obviously the trickling down of who gets the vaccine and when, and depending on when we start doing this, just to do a live stream, like I think that Maryland Hall did the same thing at one point in time. That just for those folks who aren't comfortable coming out, so that it can maybe entice them to come out once they see some of the cool talent we have down there. So that's just a thought maybe we can do that.
I agree. Do both. Yeah.
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 Here, have another chicken nugget.
Does anybody have a wish list of what they would like to see happening down at City Dock next summer? So we have salsa that we have, and we have the we got our tango and salsa, and then we could do additional dance styles.
African dance would always be cool. That's always cool to do.
Yeah.
And I think to play on, I mean, with everybody, I mean, as a musician who's been starved of performing, I think at this point, once we open up a venue for people to perform, I think we'll probably. My thought is that we'll have an abundance of folks who want to get out and kind of shed off the dust and do something live in front of a group of people versus a computer screen. So,
Yeah.
But African dance would be really cool, I think, to do that. It's
Okay. Karma, do you have a wish list for City Doc?
Always.
Do share.
The last week with, even though it's not really art, but with Travis Pastrana's performance, it really drew a pretty diverse crowd. And I think that, there were a lot of kids and a lot of, people looking for kind of stunts. And while you can't do a stunt like that every week, I do think that some more family-friendly performances. There are lots of concerts throughout town, and I'm not just, saying that we don't do the concerts, but when you're up against, 4 or 5 other concerts going on, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, whatever, I think that if we do some diverse, maybe we have mini circus performers or, like jugglers and unicycle riders, you know what I mean? Kind of, I don't want to create downtown into a circus, but at the same time, there's so many families that are, trying to get out and do something that's not costing them a lot of money and can go get ice cream and then watch some performing.
Yeah.
So that's part of my wish list.
We could have like ribbon gymnastics and stuff. Yeah, like stuff like that. It's entertaining, and of course they can do other stunts. Barbara, do you have a wish list for City Doc?
Hey, you had a few ideas. I like the dancing aspect, especially contra dancing. I don't know if any of you have ever done that. It's fun, it's easy. It's a great way to get people to get out there, and hopefully we're no longer social distancing, but I'm being positive and hoping maybe by next summer that's possible. And, like Karma said, something family friendly, maybe like some flash mob type of event, which would be kind of cool. Not just downtown, but maybe in other parts of the city. I think that's a great way to kind of focus on areas that we don't usually take a look at.
That would be fun, especially, use the different dance troupes and, or, the vocalists, choirs and stuff. That would be fun to have them just pop up.
Exactly.
Joe, do you have a wish list?
Well, I've been as a spectator, but it's the first year I've been on this side of things. So I'm gonna honestly observe and absorb. But I do certainly like the Maryland Hall tie-in. I feel like our conversation last time for sure is some new energy around some kind of connections and partnership, and that focus on mobility seems like it'd be easy to capitalize on somehow. But I like that sense of connection between these two places across town somehow, and to make that visible down on downtown.
Yeah, and we could do.
I was wondering.
Yeah.
This is Krista. I was wondering, and Brian, if you're still on the call, what about the new guy, Eric? Like, has he come up with any ideas of what he would like to see down there?
Well, I'm not sure about Eric, but I was thinking that it would be really cool, Genevieve, if you could maybe reach out to Laura and Tola and Will in the office and just see, because they're so in the community that they are working so much with the Hispanic community and the African American community. It would be great to at least pick their brains and see if they have some ideas that what might bring the people they're working with down to our city dock, because a lot of them don't come down because they just don't really feel welcome. So I know this really is always trying to do that. So it would be just great to reach out to them and engage them.
Yeah. We used to have a standing meeting, and we need to pick that up again, but since COVID, it hasn't happened, so.
Also, is there any way we can support the incredible music at Chambers again and make sure?
So what needs to happen with that, and I'll reach out to her, is she needs to submit an invoice to us, for their upcoming lineup, and then we can, submit it for approval, so. Because when I did talk to her, I remember you and I talked to her, and we did say that, we would help her in any way that we can, so.
Thank you.
Yeah. Cynthia, do you have a wish list for City Doc? She's not muted.
I think you're on mute.
Are you on mute, Cynthia? Did we lose her?
Maybe she stepped away.
She might have.
She's still on the call and not muted.
Okay. Well, when she comes back, we'll give her a Krissa. Do you have additional comments for City Doc?
No, I'm kind of following along with what everyone else is saying. I know the dance has been really, neat that we've done in the past, and of course having, variety of different types of music, I think is wonderful. The Evil Knievel, I keep calling it the Evil Knievel event that happened, the Travis event. I know a lot of people were talking about that and thought that was really neat. What I wonder about situations like that, though, is there enough Annapolis police for other parts of the city when we have events like that?
Yeah, so the production company did have to pay for the police and the emergency. So, there's additional costs to that. Okay,
because just to let you guys know, we had an incident where a neighbor's car was stolen, and we had 4 people that came through our neighborhood, and I don't want to get too far into it. Apparently, it was going on through numerous neighborhoods in Annapolis, but we were not seeing any police for follow-up that day at all. In fact, it took my neighbor, I don't even know that she ever had anyone come out to the house at all. She did talk to people on the phone, but basically the answers when people were calling was that there were so many other things going on today that they couldn't tend to them. And then it occurred to us that it was the Travis event. So that kind of alarmed me a bit.
Yeah. Large events are, do require a lot of city staff. So it's something to keep in mind with us planning. It's a point.
Exactly.
Yeah, to be aware of.
Yeah. One thing that did cross my mind is a couple of friends that I know are actors that did the movie the Night Watchman, which is a scary movie type thing, and I don't know if it would be possible or if the acoustics would be right to do like maybe an outdoor movie and then maybe have a couple of the actors talk about their work in production or something like that. I know many of the movie and film people have done that before at St. John's and other places, and with the film fest that we have. But I don't know. I thought I'd just put that out there.
Yeah, that might be a neat idea to have some local productions and have maybe we can try to do drive-in movies down at City Dock somehow. At the end, the parking areas on the end. Put up a large screen until.
Yeah, if it's a wish list, I don't know that that's something we could do next year, but that's kind of a wish list. And then also, Bumper, are you on the phone call tonight?
He was here.
Okay. He had mentioned he's been doing an amazing job at putting so many fabulous decorations, festive fall decorations, and Halloween decorations. The big pumpkin is down there. Yeah, great. And so, from what I'm hearing through the grapevine, he puts a lot of that out of pocket. There's some out of pocket expense on that. So I don't know if that is included in, it's kind of more beautification for the city, but I don't know. I was kind of thinking that if maybe we did like some sort of movie for Halloween or something downtown, or, I don't know. I'm sure he's got things planned, and Gavin might have some ideas too, but I just wanted to put a shout out to Bump because I know everybody's really been enjoying all of the festive decor, and especially with COVID, I think we all need this. And so looking ahead to next year and creating a calendar, and of course looking at our budget and what we have allotted, if there's a way that we could maybe help him out and maybe tie it into, a Ghoul concert or a parade through the town with some music or one of the bands, or, maybe we parade and then the families all go to a certain area where there's a concert, that sort of thing. So anything
Carissa?
we could do on that.
Yeah.
Hey, thank you, by the way. I just couldn't unmute my phone fast enough. I heard all that. And thank you again. Don't worry. The city, like I told somebody recently, they screwed up by letting me get my foot in the door on this. Next year, it's going to be bigger. Next year, it's going to be bigger and better. I got all these great ideas. I think they're great ideas, but I'm biased because I love the season. And I'll put you on the group that I'm forming after Halloween ends this year right away, an exploratory group to make these other big events and things I'd like to see happen. You could be like, the representative from the AIPPC.
Yeah, that would be great too. I love the idea if we could have some sort of little Halloween parade with the kids.
It's on the agenda. It's going to be bigger and better. This was just the start because I had to let people see in the city that, trust me, this is not a crazy idea. This will work, and it can work with just very little involvement from big organizations or whatever. We got it done.
Yeah.
With more input from your group and lots of other groups, it can be a destination spot. That's for the 2 or 3 weeks after boat show ends, and that's the ultimate plan. It could be on the map, and with as long as people willing to work, it can happen. It's not just like I was convinced the pumping thing would be a big hit, and it was. It would be a big hit.
And I also like the idea. I'd like to interject here. I like the idea that it's a family event and it's about the children, as opposed to a lot of the cities go for the the nightlife and it can get a little rowdy in some of the cities. I like the idea that it's a safe family event.
I would like to. Yeah, I want to go in the direction of not everybody's like some incarnation of a Victorian Secret modeled costume. I want to go to something that it's a little.
Yeah, you just make
family friendly. So.
Family. Like you could, family fall fest. It could be. Yep. Totally. I love it. And yes, and everybody loves those big pumpkins down there. We've all gotten pictures, and they look great. And
hopefully, some of you guys win a prize. So that'd be nice if somebody on this call wins a prize.
And maybe even to just make it Halloween week, that we do some sort of a week thing. In that regard, then maybe the night watchman folks might, if they're available and not on location somewhere doing another film, maybe they could do a film somewhere in the city and do a showing, or maybe not that film, but another one, or just something like that. Anyway, we'll brainstorm. Bump, keep me on that committee.
I like the way you're thinking, but I'm thinking it's going to be a Halloween 2.5 weeks. So we're gonna go big.
Let's just do a full on fall fest. Yes, we can show. It's the great pumpkin, and
On our way back from getting the pumpkins, Bumper and I and Joe drove 3.5 hours up there. But on the way back, we stopped in Bedford, Pennsylvania. I'd never been there. It was incredibly beautiful. They were supposed to be having their biggest festival of the year, but because of COVID, it was canceled. But I took the pictures of 4 or 5 storefronts, and they all looked like the kind of stuff like when I lived in Chicago, that Carson Perry Scott or Lord and Taylor Christmas windows, or in New York City. I mean, these people really put their backs into it. And so my first thought, and I mentioned it to Steve, our economic development person, but maybe our public places can do it. But I was like, man, if there was $1,000 prize for the best decorated business, every business in town would put their back into it, hoping to win that money.
Yeah, that would be
And we
cool.
would get tens of
Mhm.
thousands of dollars worth of decorating and promotion and advertising just by offering that $1,000, or
That's a
500.
great idea.
Yeah.
And just to put it in context, Bedford, punch up Bedford Fall Fest on your own time and see what it can be, what Annapolis could
Yeah.
be. They get 30 to 40,000 people on a weekend. This is Bedford. This is not Annapolis, the historic capital of Maryland. This is a little town a lot of people have never heard of. They get 30 to 40,000 people on a weekend. Every street in the main section is blocked off. So in your mind's eye, imagine first Sunday, but all up Main Street, up Francis, on Maryland Avenue, on West Street, Fleet Street, whatever,
Yeah.
or the city dock area. And you have vendors of all types, and it would be huge if you did a fall festival like that. It would absolutely, you could get buy-in and make it happen. So that's part of
I
the
wonder if we
plan.
could get Snoopy and the Great Pumpkin out on the water on one of those float boat type things.
You could. You absolutely could.
That would be cool. I like that idea.
Yeah, another thing I
A
thought-
Halloween boat parade.
Yes.
That's already. Well, here you guys go. Are you guys ready for this? All right, now let y'all. I don't want to take over the meeting with all my Halloween ideas, but it's already been set up. The big event of this 2-week thing is going to be at Christmas. You have the parade of lights. At Halloween, you have the parade of frights, and
Love it.
everything
I love
is
it.
Halloween oriented. So that's ultimately what we're shooting for. All
I
right.
love that.
As
Thank
the,
you.
as the key
Bumper.
center.
That's so
So
awesome.
that's the centerpiece of this whole 2 weeks. That's what's going to hopefully be planned. I've been trying to do it for years and years and years, and finally the city let me do something downtown, and so we can take off from there.
Yeah, great. Well, keep us in the loop because we'd love to plan entertainment and stuff for that. Brian, did you
Of
have
course.
Another thing that I thought of when we were talking about City Dock, an idea is we're looking. I hear everybody talk about more kind of performers and stuff. Is why not engage the Renaissance Festival and hire some of those guys like a couple weeks maybe before their festival starts, so it's advertising for them. We might be able to get them to do it for free or cheap because it would be marketing for them,
Yeah, that would be, like a week before Renaissance. And then they could perform. Also, I was thinking, like the Shakespeare Company, have them come down and perform, or like, poets, or, some oral history, Cynthia, are you back with us, Cynthia? No, I don't think she is. Okay. All great ideas. I love it. So let's do a wish list. Sorry, I'm making notes. Okay, so does anybody have any specific artists that you'd like to see on the lineup? Anybody you've discovered, Krissa, during COVID?
For downtown
Yeah,
or just in general?
for the concert series, yeah.
Yeah, let me think on that, because most of the ones that I know, they really want to get paid a lot. And how much is our stipend?
Well, it really depends on how many people are playing. So, but
Gotcha.
it's something that we can look at with the budget, depending on everything.
Okay.
That's why if we do all this pre-planning, we'll know better, because maybe we can give more.
I also think if we can get in touch, and I know you're kind of friends with a couple of the people that are involved with the Annapolis streaming,
Mhm.
maybe introducing some like you say, some new talent would be kind of cool to do that. But a lot of people love to come and see their old favorites as well, and they look forward to that. And so since we have not had them this year for COVID, it may be the right thing to do is to bring some of the same ones back.
Okay.
How about the Annapolis Symphony Orchestra?
Yeah, that would be nice if we can afford them, definitely. Okay.
Well, maybe they can use it to promote their season.
Cynthia, if you're having audio trouble, maybe sign off and then call back in and we can see if we can fix your audio so you can give your input as well.
Or you can use the chat function in Zoom.
Yeah, or you can write it in the chat box.
Also, some people don't realize, I think you can *6 instead of just unmute to come on. I think it's *6. So if you've been trying to unmute it and it doesn't work, try I think it's *6.
Right. So *6 will unmute, and then if you do it again, *6, it will then mute. So you can go back and forth.
Looks like she logged off, so maybe she heard you.
No, I'm here.
Oh, good, good.
Perfect. Awesome. Okay. Do you have a wish list for City Dock, Cynthia?
Well, since we started that program over the years, we learned a lot of lessons. And because it's such an open space, you know, with a beautiful background with the sailboats floating by, bigger groups with a bigger sound do better. We started out very small, and we found that solo artists at that venue, the sound dissipates and they're just not as effective as a big group. Now, some of the larger groups, I'm talking like a 20-person orchestra, was basically the same price as a duo or a trio. So just lessons learned. What works down there is something to really take up that whole stage area, as far as with the salsa, with the tango, and, you know, having the lights and special effects and whatnot. Those are the most memorable occasions that I remember.
Awesome. I agree. Bigger is better down there, definitely. Anybody else have any other additions or suggestions?
Just David. I can definitely, there are a couple of groups who performed at Kunta Kinte over the years that are always crowd favorites. Again, it's a budgetary thing. Sankofa Dance Theater is really great. They're out of Baltimore. Can Coran Dance Theater is out of DC. And then I think there's a local group that I can't remember their name, but obviously I can look into that. But, you know, just to, you know, throw it out there.
Wasn't that name Jazz Mosaic?
Who's that?
I don't know who those guys are. Obviously.
Yeah, been a while.
I always feel a little out of place representing us, but you know, if someone else was, anyway, I'm thinking about outside of us, you know, some other things that would be really cool for folks to see. But again, once we, you know, I mean, since we're throwing a wish list out there, we'll just throw it out there and find out, you know, from a budgetary standpoint, whether or not we can afford any of these groups or not. But, you know, those are folks I think would be really cool to see.
That would be awesome. All right. Well, any links, names, whatever, just, you know, flood my inbox and we'll put it together, and then we can, you know, continue the conversation over the next couple months about perfecting the schedule that we'd like to see. Okay.
By the way, let's just try to keep in mind that we do want to reach out to the Hispanic community and have music that they love, but also we want to be multicultural. So other music, other bands, to reach out to other communities too.
Definitely. Yeah, I think that'll help when we have the meeting with Laura and Tola. We can get some additional names and bands to bring, to ask if they'll come play.
So have we already agreed to send some money to the Chambers Park Summer Concert Series?
We haven't agreed to any amount yet. We are looking for an invoice from her and of what her need is, and then we'll present it at the meeting and we can vote on it.
I think last year we donated $500 to them, or was it 1,000?
I believe it was 1,000, but I think she said her need when we talked to her, Brian, she said it was 10,000. I wrote it down in another set of notes. But yeah, I'll get an invoice from her, and hopefully next month we can present it and then we can vote on it and get them the funding that they need.
I'm sorry, it was muted. Yes, I do think she said it was 10,000 for their whole series.
Yeah.
So whatever we can give them, I think would be great.
Okay.
Plus, if none of you, if some of you
making a
haven't
motion
been to that event,
this month.
I'm sorry, Cynthia, what was that?
So we should save making a motion for $1,000 donation to Chambers Park Summer Concert Series until next month?
Yeah, we don't have an invoice from her. We don't have anything to review. So this was a conversation that we had with her a couple months back. So we need to get an update from her. And then we will definitely see how much money she needs. And maybe we can give her more than 1,000. So
that would be great.
I agree. Any other further discussion about us planning summer concert series? It can even be throughout the city too. I know we're trying to, still make the clock tower a thing as soon as everybody's comfortable with having social gathering. But if anybody else has other suggestions in the other wards, let's do it. Let's definitely find, other areas that we can. I know that, being able to shut down the streets, various other restaurants are having live music outside. We're kind of getting to the cold time. So I don't know how long into the end of the year that they're extending their music programming, but we can definitely pick it up and maybe have them promote or pay for the musicians or something beginning in the spring too, is an idea that we can throw around as well.
Does anybody know, this is Krista, does anybody know if West Annapolis is doing their street fest or anything like that coming up? Are they planning anything for the spring or next year? And also, Brian, if you're still there on the phone, I wondered, I've been going over to Evelyn's here and there and enjoying their breakfasts, and they have the picnic tables that are still out, and they also have them up at the Bean Rush. Are they going to be able to stay on the street further into the year?
I'm not sure when, but because we're allowing downtown to go throughout the winter, we might be letting them because, we're blessed enough. I think almost every year I've lived here in my 30 years, there's been 70-degree days in January, which is crazy for me coming from Iowa, but we get those nice little bursts sometimes. I have a feeling I'll make a note and ask, but I'm almost certain that they're going to let them stay out there just like the ones downtown.
Right. And I think the last I heard from the waitress, which was this week, was that the managers aren't sure if it's going to be allowed. They're hoping, but I think it would maybe give them security that if they wanted that to continue, to give them the answer sooner than later, because they're all having to plan, how to make this work for them. And some may opt to not have it, but to give them that option, I think would be a really great thing if the city would continue to do that, if that's what they want to do.
Yep. I'm on it.
I mean, the obvious issue is that if we get snow, and there's a state of emergency or something like that with snow and ice removal and that sort of thing. But,
We'll see.
at least maybe through the fall.
This is
into
Ashley.
in December.
I didn't want to interrupt,
Ashley.
but they are doing active discussions with it's West Annapolis Business Association up there, who was in charge of all those little parklets, as they call them.
Right.
They are actively talking with them about extending them through the same time period as all the other recovery zones. They had been under different agreement, and I think they're going to set up an actual recovery zone for them up there. That's the
Okay.
last I heard.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
And I'm hoping that our friends in SOFO, also like the Main and Market that's doing it, and also Grump is doing it over in Hillsmere area. They have, you know, something in their parking lots too, but I don't know if that affects the city or not.
No, I think right now they're just trying to figure out things like heaters, tents, fire safety, and
Right,
snow
right.
removal. So there is
Cool.
active
Okay.
discussions going on for all of those spots.
Fabulous. Thanks, Ashley.
We can also have Karma check in with them. That is her ward, and check in with Diane and let us know what they're doing and if we can help in any way. Awesome. Thanks, Karma. Excuse me, sorry. Allergies this time of year. So for the yearly report, we will have to start compiling that. And a lot of that is towards the end of the report. You know, we talk about what we've done this year, which is going to be pretty light outside of the financial assistance that we have been giving here and there. But I think for us to petition the city to continue, I mean, it's going to be a tight budget. Next year, we already know this. There's already a deficit in it due to the lack of revenue coming in right now because of COVID. Putting these ideas that we've been talking about here is really important, of putting that into the yearly report to show that art can be not only just, you know, something that we listen to or watch, but it can also help with the economic recovery. It can also help with the community building. So I think we need to build that into the yearly report, and having all of you present it as how you can foresee art in each one of your wards as assisting in both the deficit of the revenue currently, but also with the community building. We are all stuck in our houses, so when we do come out, we will need activities that people feel comfortable going to and that they will want to attend with each other, in addition to finding different ways to bringing tourism back outside of just our normal stuff too. And I think that's why having art along the bike path is a good thing for us to put into the yearly report as a futuristic thing. And that brings people in that do bike from out of town. It brings in art connoisseurs. It brings in just our locals getting out on the paths as well. So these are things that I would like. If you need a map of the we, David, I can send it to you so you can.
Yes, I would. Thank you.
Yeah. I'll send it out, and I'll send it out to everybody. So you can see the areas that they're planning and what you think would fit into those sections of the path for art or murals or, you know, anything that's art related that we could do for the city and for its visitors. So put your ideas on paper, shoot them over an email, and I can incorporate that into the yearly report as a wish list. And also for when David and I talked to Eric and Brian about moving forward on a bigger scale of making Annapolis the art city that it always wants to be, and it is, but making sure that, you know, it's on the map with our nation as well, to know that they can come to Annapolis and see all of these different art forms. You know, maybe we put on the wish list having the app developed. I know that Jeff is working on doing an app for Future History Now murals. And at one point, I think Visit Annapolis was working on something too. I have to double check. I don't think it was fully developed. It obviously wasn't implemented. We have our online interactive maps, but not an official app that you could download on your phone and be out on your bike, and like it would pinpoint, you know, where the next art piece is, and you ride your bike there off of the path and be interactive with it. So I think these are things that we should look at going forward, and definitely incorporate that in the yearly report. So, like I said last year, just think big and don't be, no idea is too big and no idea is too ridiculous. I think we need to be forward thinking about this, and that would help ensure that, we stay in the funding, because they are going to need us to help them with economic recovery. Anybody have any questions or thoughts or additions to that?
I think those are spot on. I mean, definitely, it's going to be an interesting year. I mean, obviously, we want to get people out. We want to encourage people to come. I think art and music and entertainment is obviously a draw for folks to come out. So just a matter of just making sure that it's safe and consistent, and we have everybody's health and well-being in mind when we do that.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I think that may be one thing that also, to in that yearly report, to kind of, accentuate the fact that the things we're thinking about are taking people's health in consideration, that we're, mentioning, like, we're going to do, if we still need to do safe distancing or airflows or, anything that we can do to make sure that people feel safe and comfortable. Let's accentuate that in the report as well. So that we're not only trying to get people out, but we're trying to keep them safe. I think that's something to, incorporate into the report as well.
Yeah. I think planning as many outdoor activities as possible, I think, is the best way to go. And, and thinking about how you make that happen, even if the weather isn't really conducive to it. Maryland Hall has developed a plan, and they're implementing it and figuring out how to use it. MTPA is having performances as well. So I think it would help draw attention to Maryland Hall and MTPA's performances if, we brought those performers out, like we were saying, into our wards, various wards, and letting people know in person that, we have these dance troupes and we have these, we have the orchestra and everything, and that they can see that in various places, and then know that they can go to Maryland Hall's schedule to see it at another time with a, scheduled performance, big performance there, instead of just our little pop-ups. So shoot those ideas to me in the email, and I'll make sure that we incorporate them in the reports, in addition to any artists, that you would like to see, dancing, all those kind of things. I was also thinking maybe once a month we could hire professional dancers to, like they do for our other existing dance nights that we have. But, we could introduce additional dancing, like I said, and like Barbara said, contra dancing. And so maybe we could hire a professional once a month to come, like, a couple, they have some really, once they can travel again, once they can tour, they have some really amazing touring dancing professionals. So they could come and perform, and then we can all, dance afterwards or whatever. So I'd like to look into that and see if that's cost effective for us to think about doing that as well. But send your ideas, please. I would love to have something mentioned for each ward, and then your additional wish lists for anything. It doesn't have to be just live performances, but murals, sculpture. If you know of a new place for a gallery that we could display additional art pieces, that would be great too. And if nobody else has any further discussion on the yearly report, then I'll just open it to open discussion if anybody has anything that they'd like to talk about at this time that we haven't covered yet.
I just want to add one thing. I have to go back to my DoD days and the use of acronyms, especially since we are, in theory, talking to the public, and they may not know what our acronyms are. If we could, if you could use an acronym, just kind of, explain the acronym so that folks who may not know anything about that have an understanding of what we need.
Definitely. I agree.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
That's it for me.
Yeah, I try to make sure in the minutes.
Yeah, that's it for me too. I was going to bring that up at the beginning when you were talking about Future History Now and talking about the murals. My thought is, oh gosh, the audience if there is anybody else listening tonight, they'll want to know what that is. So thanks, David.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's it. Thanks.
Okay.
Ashley? Ashley still
Yes,
there?
I'm here. Sorry, just trying to get to my mute button.
Yes. Ashley, isn't it time to put the elections on the agenda?
What was the question? You broke up a little bit.
Oh, okay. Well, last October you brought up about the elections. Isn't it time?
Yes, you are right. It's
It-
well,
it-
I'll have to check with Hillary because Hillary's the one that keeps tabs on that. But
Hillary and I already talked about this. It's November because it's yearly, and our last election was in November, so it will be on the agenda for next month.
there you go.
Right, but I mean, people need to start thinking about nominations.
Yeah. So next month we will have a vote on chair and our co-chair and secretary.
Do you think that, since you're Gavin's campaign manager, that you'll have the time to continue as chair of APIC?
Currently at this time, it does not have a conflict of interest, and it is my 1-year anniversary with Gavin, so I've been able to do both, and it's been great.
Well, I mean, it is the election year, 2021.
We are entering, yep. So we'll see.
Does anybody in their collective wisdom know whether I will get in trouble for putting a little projector of ghosts up on St. Anne's wall these next few days? My contact at St. Anne's is into the idea. They were just worried about whether or not there's some law or rule or regulation or historic preservation committee thing, just a little projector with ghosts coming across the wall. As you're coming into town, you see ghosts coming across the wall as you're coming into town. Anyway, does anybody have any idea, Brian?
Well, I would think, since we are a historical city, I would think that you would have to have some very historical ghosts, like George Washington and, some other characters like that.
I mean, this is just at night, like for a few hours each night as you're coming in, you see some ghosts coming across the wall kind of thing. But, I mean, does anybody know definitively that it cannot be done?
What about the post office?
Well, I've got the okay from St. Anne's. St. Anne's Church at the top of Main Street's okay with it as long as it doesn't get them in any trouble.
Well, I would think that HPC would not mind since it's temporary.
It sounds like an Ashley question.
It is an Ashley question, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. Bumper. I don't know off the top of my head. If it's on private property, it's less of an issue. But I can check, and then we can loop in Roberta Lenore on HPC, although I doubt she'd have any concerns, and Felicia, just because this kind of roams into the realm of special events, kind of. So, but
okay.
Are you
I'll tell you what. Field that question into them on November 1st.
Okay.
Or maybe Monday the 2nd.
My question is it going to be done in such a way where it won't be distracting around the circle? All of us have lived here, for so long that we can pretty much drive the circle, in the dark, basically. But people that are coming into the city to visit, they might be looking for street signs and this and that and the other. Will it be done in a way that it will be distracting, or can you do it in a way that it will not distract the traffic and won't throw people off? Because that's the only thing. I had a complaint by a neighbor recently, and it was just this week. And she was coming around the circle that was, right there at the West End. And she said, "Oh my God, the people are driving crazy. Nobody knows how to drive a circle." And so if you're going to do it right at St. Anne's, that's maybe a little bit easier to get around than the West Street Circle. Gets a little confusing for people that have never been to our city or never been to a circle before in our city. So just keeping that in mind, that's all.
No, I got you. And there was some concerns about the pumpkins being up and people craning their heads. And again, I can't predict the future, and people are crazy drivers and they get distracted easy by lots of things, But they, a beautiful Christmas tree lighted up at the bottom of Main Street as you go around that circle could be considered something equivalent, although it's not a moving picture like
Yes,
these,
it's the moving
these
part of
little
it. You know,
apparitions.
somebody, especially the elderly, from personal experience, when it comes to, when it starts to get dark at night and that kind of thing, people can sometimes get disoriented. But, and I just know that from, friends and family, but that as they get older and driving and that sort of thing. So just, I want to make sure that we're doing things safely. I think it's fun. I think it's a great idea. But as long as it can be done not to the extreme, which sometimes I think
it's not the whole building lit up. It's small. No, this is small. I mean? This is a small little corner, kind of caddy. The entrance to St. Anne's just to the left. It would kind of be like, I don't know, I'm saying 10 by 20 foot area,
Gotcha.
I think.
Okay, sounds good.
Anyway, I was just to make sure I don't want to, whatever I do, I don't want to bring drama or problems to anybody's desk. That's all.
Well, thank you, John Moyer. We appreciate that.
No problem.
It sounds like
Doing a great job, by the way.
Yeah, we've got enough drama as it is.
Yeah.
And by the way, I don't know if Brian's still on the call, but as far as the mayor's office is concerned, Brian he gets it. He's been, with me and helpful in a lot of ways getting this done, because he kind of got it. He's like, when the light bulb went off in his head and I was trying to explain to him, and he jumped in the truck and he suffered through 3.5 hours of Joe Gormley talking. So
he's an Iowa boy.
Yes.
So
and
so
Joe
he gets a I love Joe, and I love Joe. But so Brian's earned his keep this season.
It's awesome. Well, thank you, Bumper, for making our city beautiful for the fall. It does look great. I really love it, and I think the ghost idea.
It'll be better next, and it'll be better. Even if not everything I want to do can be done, it'll be better next year. It's just a start.
So much room to grow it. I'm excited to see what you have going on.
Good. We'll get it. It'll be fun. I want to ultimately, the goal behind it is to increase the boat show drop off. After the boat show ends, we've got a lull period, and I want to bring 2 or 3 weeks of merriment and commerce and everything, an extra 2 or 3 weeks into the season.
That's great.
Awesome.
All right, guys. Have fun. I'll see you. Bye.
Bye. All right. I think we can conclude the meeting then, unless anybody else has anything to add. Okay. Nope. Do I have?
Give me a call when we get off of this. There's something else on another subject that I'd like to mention to you.
Okay.
Can I make a motion to adjourn?
A second.
All those in favor?
This is David. Aye.
Genevieve, aye.
Barbara,
This
aye.
is Krista, aye.
Thank you, everybody.
Karma,
I think
aye.
it's
Bye,
unanimous.
everybody. Bye.